Hello, this is Sheshachalam from Ascendant. Today let us go ahead and understand how Mercury behaves in the 7th house and what actually are the results of the 7th house when Mercury is sitting there. We all know Mercury is an extremely fast moving planet, an agile planet, active planet, young planet with fresh thoughts, fresh ideas and fresh creativity. Because of its fast movement and mathematical calculations and its way of thinking out of the box. Excellent thinking Mercurians have with regard to solving problems. So these people with the 7th house Mercury are very good at solving problems and it's finding solutions. So let us first understand the 7th house and its significations to understand what actually Mercury and how actually Mercury transforms them when it sits there. The 7th house means many things, but especially the most important thing what the world is buzzing about is about relationship and spouse. But Mercury has one very strong highlight when it is sitting in the 7th house. It actually takes care of business and entrepreneurship. So, a person who has a strong, well-placed Mercury, let us say a Bhadra Yoga in the 7th house, which actually happens only for two Lagnas, one is the Sagittarius, the other one is the Pisces. But let us say Mercury is well-placed in its friend's house and in the 7th house. For example, once again, in the for the Lagnas of Aries, when Mercury is placed in Libra, and for the Lagna of Scorpio when Mercury is placed in the 7th house in Taurus. But here what happens is Mercury is the 8th lord and the 6th lord for Scorpio and Aries respectively. So the ramifications of Mercury and its lordship is very important, and this I will be doing in the future classes when I will be taking for each Lagna, that is for each Rashi, for each Ascendant, how actually each lord plays. Like for example, for Aries, how does Mercury play in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th and houses and till the 12th. So this is a very long set of classes, series of classes which one by one people can understand. So okay, I have made a set of points here which are very important when Mercury is in the 7th house and which is well posited. If it is badly posited, weakly posited, things will change and you can do those changes depending on with whom it is posited and what type of a lordship Mercury has. Anyway, if it is well posited in the 7th house, the planet of business in the house of business, it gives rise to excellent business destiny and fate and also very good journey. So very good business journey the person will have in his life. So depending on the lordship of Mercury and the 10th lord from the ascendant, and also the 10th house, how it is posited, the kind of business can be known. So how to determine what sort of a business a person will be doing with Mercury in the 7th house is to be done with these criteria, these factors. One, the 7th house itself. Second, the 10th house, the 10th lord. Third, the 10th lord. Fourth, the D10 chart. The D10 chart, where is the 10th lord of the D1 posited and where is Mercury posited in the D10 chart is very important, because that is a planet which actually is for finance, for economic well-being. So liquid cash, what we call as transactional business with lot of transactions, lot of movement, lot of marketing. So these things are Mercury. So since Mercury is very good in communication, the 7th house means that a person can be very good when he is along with people. So he is a people's man. This man knows how to talk to people. Man doesn't mean that it's not a woman. A woman also with a Mercury in the 7th house, she knows how to be a good entrepreneur and a person who can socially, link with people, have very good conversations and have very good partnerships. So these people can do fantastic joint ventures. So they are good masters because the skilled labor who is working in a company under a Mercurian will be given the best respect. Mercurians always respect intelligence, they respect skill and talent. So, a person who has good talent, even if he doesn't have good educational qualification on paper, will get the best payment under a Mercurian boss. So, that's a very good thing. And only one thing, Mercury is not that great in is handling relationships. So they are very good in business, they are very good bosses, they are extremely good in mergers, meetings, they are very, very good in that. But not so good, bad, and sometimes extremely bad when it comes to relationships and management, or managing family and taking care of them. So, what actually happens here is that Mercurians do not waste time and they do not believe in emotional, pampering, or they feel that it's a waste of time, simply investing on some unwanted things. So they deal with their family with practical, way of life. So they are too practical. So when we see a Mercurian deal with his family members very practically, it feels like as though he is having a disconnect with his family. So actually, it's not like that. He will be very good with his family. He will provide what is required. But once again, he will be dealing with the family members as he is dealing with any other person on earth. So even with his wife or she with her husband. So spouse of a Mercurian, Mercury's seventh house Mercury in a natal chart, the spouse actually has a Mercury in the Lagna. So if I take the seventh house as the Lagna of the spouse, the Mercury which is in the seventh house is actually in the Lagna of the spouse. So if I reverse the chart and see, spouse is very intelligent and he or she knows how to manage marriage. So there will be not much conflict because the same kind of emotionless, practical, realistic behavior will be there with the spouse also. So they will be in tandem. So that is why, if in very rare cases this happens that the Lagnadipati is Mercury and it goes to the seventh house, it becomes Nicha in Virgo, but still it gives good family life. And even in the Lagna of Gemini, when Mercury goes to Sagittarius, it still gives good family life if the seventh lord is well protected. But usually, people who have Mercury in the seventh house and the seventh lord is weak, even if Shukra is weak, then there is a difficulty called as impotency. So we know that Mercury is a planet which signifies impotency. But here one should understand that impotent does not mean that a person is not capable of having progeny. Santana Bhagya will be there, he will have children, he will have progeny, and all these things are fine. But impotency here means that the lack of confidence and lack of interest with regard to intimate relationship, physical intimate relationship. So that's where it fails a little bit. So style and status and living, these people love to live luxuriously. They love branded items, they love branded goods. So they go in for the best, they do not compromise on quality, and that is why they are good in business, because they can see every small mistake and they can correct them because they know how to provide solutions. They are solution providers, they are very good at it. So accounting and financial market, hardcore engineering subjects like electronics, electrical, and robotics, aviation, space, all these come under Mercury. And even eco, that is ecological balance, that alternative electrical energy, alternative current, alternative sources of power. So batteries, ionic batteries, all these things come under Mercury. So if Mercury is strong in the 7th house, a person will be very good in studies and also excellent in business. So thank you very much for today's class. I hope I have covered the most important points of Mercury. So I will be covering some more points in the coming classes. Thank you.